The shuttle hummed softly as it landed on the floating platform of Zaria Prime, capital of the Zarian Empire. Lucas shifted in his seat, clutching a small toolkit. He wasn't a soldier or a diplomat. He was an engineer, a simple human fixer of things. When the call came to assist with a broken Zarian energy core, he didn't expect to be sent across stars. Now, here he was, standing on an alien world. He stepped out, blinking at the twin suns above. The sky was purple, and the towers around. Him curved like twisted glass, glowing with soft light. Tall aliens with blue and silver skin walked past him. They wore long robes and carried themselves with elegance. Lucas felt out of place in his dusty jacket and utility belt. A Zarian officer approached. "You are the human technician?" Lucas nodded. "Yes, sir. Lucas Hayden. Follow me." "The palace awaits." Palace. The word made Lucas gulp. He didn't know much about royalty, especially alien royalty. He had only read a short file on Princess Elira, heir to the throne. She was known for her intelligence, her coldness, and her beauty. He wondered if he'd even see her during the mission. The palace was a wonder. Floating stones lined the entrance and glowing vines wrapped around tall pillars. Lucas tried not to stare. Inside, everything sparkled like starlight. He was taken to a round room with a massive energy core in the center, flickering and pulsing. Wrong. "It is unstable," the officer said. "You are to repair it. Failure will damage the city." Lucas took a deep breath. "I'll do my best." For hours, he worked, crawling under the console, rerouting circuits, studying alien blueprints. He forgot his nerves and lost himself in the work. That was until he heard a soft voice behind him. "You smell strange, human." He hit his head on a panel, startled. He turned and saw her, Princess Elira. She stood tall, her silver-blue hair flowing like water, her eyes glowing faintly. "Your Highness," Lucas said, bowing clumsily. "I didn't know you were here." "I was curious," she said. "They said a human was fixing our heartstone. I wanted to see if you had extra arms or glowing eyes." Lucas chuckled nervously. "Just the usual 2 arms, and no glowing anything." Elira tilted her head. "Disappointing." Lucas wasn't sure if she was joking. "I get that a lot." She walked closer and looked at his work. "You touched the red conduit?" "Yes," Lucas said. "It was overloading. I had to redirect its energy flow." Elira blinked. "No, one has dared touch that in years." Well, it looked like it needed help. For a moment, silence hung in the air. Then, to his surprise, Elira smiled slightly. "You are either brave or foolish, Lucas Hayden." He smiled back. "A bit of both." The princess stayed a while, watching him. She didn't speak again, but Lucas felt her eyes on him. Eventually, she left without a word. Lucas let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. Days passed. Lucas worked hard, fixing more parts of the energy system. Each time he entered the palace, he saw the princess nearby. Sometimes she stood on balconies. Other times, she walked past him with her guards. Once, she even brought him water and left. Without saying anything, the crew whispered, "The princess keeps watching the human. Maybe she's bored. Maybe she's testing him." Lucas ignored the talk. He was focused on finishing the job. Until one evening, something went wrong. A hidden energy surge burst from a side panel. Lucas didn't see it, but Princess Elira did. She had come silently again to observe. Without thinking, Lucas threw himself toward her and pushed her down. The blast hit the ceiling, raining sparks. Guards rushed in. Lucas was pulled off the princess. "You dare touch her!" Elira raised her hand. "He saved me!" Everyone froze. Lucas stood, dusting himself off. "Just doing what any decent person would." Elira sat up, looking at him. "You should have run. That's what most do." "I couldn't let you get hurt," he said. Her eyes searched his face. Then for the first time she laughed. Not a polite chuckle, a real, soft laugh. The guards looked shocked. No one had heard her laugh like that in years. "You are the strangest creature," she said. "You already said that," Lucas replied. "Now I believe it." After that, something changed. Elira began visiting more often. She would bring him strange Zarian fruit, ask about Earth customs, and laugh at his jokes, even the bad ones. Lucas started to enjoy her company. She wasn't cold at all. She was curious, playful, and sharp. She had lived a life full of rules and expectations. With Lucas, she could be herself. But he knew his time there was short. As the core neared full repair, so did his stay. One night, under the floating trees of the palace garden, Lucas sat alone, sketching upgrades in his notebook. Elira appeared beside him, silent. "You're always working," she said. "Keeps me out of trouble." "Maybe you like trouble." Lucas looked at her. "Maybe." She sat beside him. "Do all human males kneel when asking something big? Like what? Like asking a female to bond?" Lucas laughed. "You mean propose?" She nodded. "Yes. Well, some do. It's kind of an old tradition. Why kneel? To show respect, humility, love sometimes." Elira looked thoughtful. "Strange, but sweet." Lucas hesitated, then said, "If you were human, I'd probably kneel and ask you to marry me." She turned to him, wide-eyed. And then she laughed again. This time longer, brighter. Lucas turned red. Okay, bad joke." She touched his hand. "No, it just surprised me." He looked down. "I didn't mean to offend." "You didn't," she said. "You just made my heart feel light." Lucas smiled. In that quiet moment, something unspoken passed between them. Not love, not yet, but something rare, something beginning. The days passed quickly on Zaria Prime. Lucas kept working on the energy core. The problem was serious, but Lucas was determined. He wanted to fix it before he had to leave this strange world. The princess, Elira, was no longer a distant figure. She often found reasons to be near him. Sometimes she watched quietly from a balcony. Sometimes she walked beside him in the palace halls. One afternoon, Lucas was repairing a complex panel when Elira appeared suddenly. "You need a break," she said softly. Her voice surprised him because it was gentle, not cold or royal. Lucas wiped sweat from his brow. "I can't stop now. The core's almost stable. Even machines need rest," she replied, her eyes curious. Lucas smiled. "You sound like a teacher." "Maybe I am," she teased. Then she reached into her robe and pulled out a small, glowing fruit. "Try this." Lucas hesitated but took a bite. The taste was sweet and strange, like honey mixed with fresh rain. "Not bad," he said. Elira smiled. "It's called Valari fruit. Only grows here." They sat in a quiet garden filled with glowing plants. For a moment, they forgot their worlds. Lucas told her stories about Earth. Tall buildings, oceans, deserts, and strange holidays humans celebrated. Elira listened, fascinated. She shared tales of Zarian history, their wars and peace. Their talks grew longer. Lucas noticed that Elira laughed more often. Her laughter was light, like music. The palace guards whispered among themselves, surprised by the princess's new behavior. Some frowned, but others seemed hopeful. One evening, Elira invited Lucas to watch the twin suns, set from the palace tower. The sky turned shades of orange and violet. "Do humans watch sunsets?" she asked. "Yes. It reminds us how beautiful change can be." Elira looked at him. "Do you think change is always good?" Lucas thought. "Not always, but sometimes it opens new paths." She smiled, but then her face turned serious. My council does not like you. Lucas's heart sank. Why? Because you are human. Because you do not belong to the royal court. Because you make me laugh when I am supposed to be serious. Lucas took her hand. Then I will keep making you laugh. Elira squeezed his hand back. You are foolish, Lucas Hayden. But maybe that is why I like you. Rumors about them spread. Some nobles whispered that the princess was losing her mind. Others said she was wise to find a friend outside the court's lies. Lucas felt eyes on him everywhere he went. One day, while walking through the palace corridors, he overheard two guards talking. He's just a human, one said. He will ruin everything. He saved the princess, the other replied. Maybe he is more than human. Lucas wanted to believe the second guard. He hoped Elira's trust in him could change more than just their own lives. Then came the day that changed everything. The palace was hosting a grand event to celebrate peace between Zarians and their neighbors. Leaders from many planets gathered to watch the signing of a new treaty. Lucas was there, nervous but proud. Elira stood beside her father, the Emperor. Suddenly, alarms rang. The energy core, thought fixed, began to fail. Lights flickered. The crowd gasped. Lucas ran toward the control room with palace engineers. Elira followed close behind, her face pale. We must shut it down, Lucas shouted. If it explodes, the palace will be destroyed. Elira looked at him, eyes wide. What can I do? Stay here and stay safe, Lucas said. But she shook her head. No, I am part of this. Together they entered the chamber. Sparks flew from broken panels. The air smelled of burnt metal. Lucas worked fast, rewiring circuits while Elira held the emergency controls. A sudden blast knocked Lucas backward. He hit the floor hard. Pain shot through his side. Elira rushed to him. Are you okay? She asked. Just a scratch? Lucas smiled weakly. Then his eyes met hers. For a moment, the palace faded away. They were two people, far from duties and danger. With a final push, Lucas repaired the core. The lights steadied. The alarms stopped. The palace was safe. The crowd outside cheered, unaware of the risk inside. Elira helped Lucas to his feet. You saved us all. Lucas shook his head. We saved each other. Later, in a quiet corner of the palace, Elira looked at Lucas with new respect. You are not just a strange human, she said. You are brave. Lucas laughed. I just didn't want to die here. She smiled softly. Then stay with me. A little longer. Lucas wanted to say yes forever, but he knew their worlds were still far apart. That night, under the purple stars, Lucas thought about the princess who laughed at his words and saved him with her courage. He knew this was only the beginning of something bigger. The days after the palace energy crisis passed quietly, but the tension remained. Lucas and Elira spent more time together, their bond growing stronger with each meeting. They shared stories, laughed at silly jokes, and learned about each other's worlds. Lucas showed her Earth music through a small device, and Elira introduced him to Zarian traditions. The more they shared, the more they understood each other. Elira was no longer just a princess with cold eyes. She was a curious, kind-hearted person who wanted more than rules. Lucas was no longer just a human engineer. He was a friend, someone she trusted. However, not everyone was happy. The Zarian Council, a group of powerful nobles, watched them with suspicion. They whispered that a human could never be part of their royal family. Some council members planned to separate them, fearing change and the unknown. One afternoon, Lucas was walking through the palace garden when a stern council member, Lord Venric, approached him. Human, Venric said sharply. You should know your place. Lucas looked up calmly. I am here to help, nothing more. Venric's eyes narrowed. The princess is not your plaything. She must marry a noble Zarian prince. Your presence threatens our traditions. Lucas stood firm. I respect your traditions, but I also respect Elira's choices. Venric sneered and left without another word. Lucas felt the weight of the palace's eyes, but refused to back down. Meanwhile, Elira heard the whispers and warnings from her advisors. They told her to end her friendship with Lucas before it brought shame, but her heart rebelled against their cold words. One evening, under the glow of Zarian moons, Elira found Lucas repairing a small machine. "Why do you fight so hard to stay here?" she asked softly. Lucas paused. "Because you showed me kindness. Because I want to be more than just a visitor," she smiled sadly. "You risk a lot. The council is watching." "I know," Lucas said, "but I want to show them humans are more than they think." She reached out and took his hand. "You have already changed me." Their hands stayed linked as the stars shone above. Then, news came that shook the palace further. Elira was expected to meet a visiting prince from a neighboring empire. The meeting was arranged to secure alliances through marriage. The council hoped this would end her time with Lucas. On the day of the meeting, Lucas watched as Elira greeted the prince with royal grace. The prince was handsome and confident, but Elira's eyes searched for Lucas in the crowd. Later, she found Lucas in a quiet hall. "This meeting changes everything," she said. "They want me to marry him." Lucas looked at her. "What do you want?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "To choose for myself." Lucas nodded. "Then I will support you." Days passed. Elira prepared for the official announcement. The palace buzzed with excitement and gossip. Lucas felt unsure, but hoped their bond could survive the coming storm. Then, one night, while walking in the white palace garden, Elira stopped. "Lucas," she said, "I want to show you something." She led him to a secret place, a quiet pond where glowing flowers floated on the water. "This is where I come when I feel trapped by my duty," she said. "Here I am free," Lucas smiled, "and here I feel at home." Elira looked at him with soft eyes. "There is something I must tell you." Lucas waited. "I think I like you," she said simply. Lucas's heart jumped. "I like you too." They laughed together, their voices mixing with the gentle night sounds. Their happiness was short-lived. The council summoned Elira. They warned her to end the friendship or face punishment. Elira stood tall but knew the fight was not easy. Lucas wanted to protect her. He trained with the palace guards, learning to defend himself. He refused to be just a technician. One day, while practicing, he noticed Elira watching with a smile. "You're getting better," she said. Lucas grinned. "For you." Their connection deepened. But the council's power was strong. Rumors spread that Lucas planned to take the throne. Enemies whispered lies to divide the palace. Lucas and Elira knew they had to face the challenges together. One evening, Lucas knelt before Elira in the palace garden. "Princess," he said, "I do not know the future, but I promise to stand by you. Will you let me?" Elira looked down and laughed, a bright, joyful sound that echoed under the stars. "You are the strangest human," she said, "but yes, I will let you." Their laughter joined, breaking the cold silence of the court. News spread quickly. The human proposed to the alien princess on one knee, and she laughed before she said yes. The galaxy watched, shocked and curious. Lucas and Elira had begun a new chapter, one that would change their worlds forever. After Lucas's bold proposal and Elira's joyful laughter, the palace was filled with whispers and tension. Some nobles were angry, believing a human could never be part of the royal family. Others were curious, wondering if this strange bond could change the empire's future. Elira felt the pressure more than anyone. Her advisors warned her to end the relationship before it harmed the Empire's stability. The council planned a meeting to discuss her fate. Lucas stood by her side, ready to face whatever came. The night before the meeting, Elira and Lucas walked through the palace gardens, under the soft glow of the twin moons. The air smelled sweet, with blooming flowers. "Do you think they will accept us?" Lucas asked, worry in his voice. Elira looked up at the stars. "I do not know, but I will fight for us." Lucas squeezed her hand. "You are stronger than anyone I know." At the council meeting, nobles sat stiffly around a glowing table. The emperor presided but looked tired. "Princess Elira," a council elder began, "your bond with a human breaks tradition. We fear it weakens our empire's honor." Elira stood tall. "Tradition must not cage us. Love and trust are stronger than fear." Some council members gasped. Others nodded slowly. Lucas stepped forward. "I am not here to replace anyone. I only ask for a chance to prove humans can bring strength and peace." The emperor studied. Lucas, then Elira. Finally, he spoke. "This is a new path for the Zarian Empire. We will allow the princess to choose her partner, but all must prove their loyalty." Elira smiled at Lucas. "We will face this together." The days after the meeting were busy. Lucas trained with palace guards, learning to fight and lead. Elira worked to gain support from nobles and citizens alike. Their bond grew deeper, built on respect and courage. One afternoon, Lucas invited Elira to see Earth through a virtual reality device. She gasped at the blue oceans, green forests, and tall mountains. "Your world is beautiful," she said softly. "It is. But it needs care, just like yours." Elira took his hand. "Then we will care for both." Their love inspired many. Young Zarians began to hope for a future where they could choose freely, but not all were pleased. Lord Venric, the harsh council member, gathered a group of nobles who still opposed the union. They planned to sabotage the peace. One night, Lucas was attacked while walking alone. He fought bravely but was outnumbered. Elira, alerted by guards, rushed to his aid with palace soldiers. Together, they defeated the attackers. This event shocked the palace. It showed Lucas's bravery and the dangers they faced. Elira addressed the Empire, her voice strong. "This attack was against our future, against love and unity. We will not fear change. We will stand together." Her words united many hearts. Lucas recovered quickly. He and Elira grew even closer, knowing their love was now a symbol of hope. Then came the day of the grand ceremony, where Lucas and Elira would announce their union officially. The palace was decorated with flowers from all over the Empire. Leaders from many planets arrived to witness this historic moment. As Lucas and Elira stood before the crowd, she took his hand and smiled. "Today," she said, "we begin a new chapter, not just for us, but for all who believe in love, courage, and change." Lucas knelt once more, this time not just to propose, but to promise. "Elira, my princess, my friend, I will protect you and our future with all my heart." Elira laughed softly, her eyes shining. "And I will stand by you no matter what." The crowd erupted in cheers. The Zarian Empire had changed forever. The day of the union had finally come. The palace of Zaria Prime was alive with color and music. Flowers from every corner of the empire decorated the halls, and the air buzzed with excitement. People from many planets gathered to witness the historic event, the marriage of Princess Elira and the human Lucas Hayden. Lucas stood nervously beside Elira. His heart beat fast, but his eyes shone with pride. Elira, dressed in royal robes, looked radiant. She smiled at Lucas, her hand warm in his. As they stepped forward, the emperor began to speak. "Today we celebrate a new path for the Zarian Empire. A path of unity, respect, and love that crosses worlds." The crowd cheered, but some nobles still watched silently, unsure of this change. Alara took Lucas's hand. Our worlds are different, but together, we are stronger. Lucas nodded. I promise to honor and protect you, and to bring peace between our people. The ceremony was simple, but full of meaning. They exchanged symbols of their worlds, a small earth stone and a glowing Zarian crystal. Their hands joined. They sealed their promise. After the ceremony, celebrations filled the palace. Music played and laughter echoed through the gardens. Lucas and Aelira moved through the crowd, greeted with smiles and cheers. Young Zarians approached Lucas, asking about Earth and his life. Humans and aliens shared stories, breaking down walls of fear. But the journey wasn't easy. Some nobles still whispered against them. Lord Venric, defeated but not gone, continued to plot. Lucas and Aelira knew they had to prove their love was more than a symbol. They worked side by side, leading the Empire through challenges. Lucas used his engineering skills to improve the energy systems, making the Empire stronger. Aelira focused on diplomacy, building bridges with neighboring planets. Together they showed that different worlds could unite. One day, while walking in the palace garden, Aelira stopped and looked at Lucas. Do you remember when you first proposed? She asked with a smile. Lucas laughed. How could I forget? You laughed so much I thought I ruined everything. She took his hand. No, that moment was the beginning. Your courage changed everything. Lucas looked into her eyes. And your laughter gave me hope. Years passed. Lucas and Aelira's union became a story told across galaxies. The story of a human who dared to love an alien princess, and a princess who dared to choose her own path. Their love was a beacon, reminding all that even in the vast universe, kindness and courage could break barriers. And every time Aelira laughed, Lucas knew she was truly hers.